reflecting on, our kind of, GoodCall's now been on the go for 3.5 years. And when I think from when I first started, it was before the pandemic, it was just a couple of accounts. And it was a case of come in and, look after, be the customer service side, but it's actually so much more.
You were filled.
So much more than that. And I think that's been, it's been such an enjoyable journey so far, because actually it's been listening to the organisations and building those relationships with them all, because it's not just about bringing on as many accounts as possible, and each one's got a different story. And you, as I said, like we've said before, you become a member of that team, more so with some than others, but you tend to find that, that impact that we've had is so important to a lot of them that, they're renewing their contracts now, which is fantastic. But then, we've got things like, Volunteer Matters, where they only started out with 90 lines and they're now about 250 phone lines. So you've been that journey where they've grown as an organisation, but also there's loads of other projects they've done on, attached to that, which is really good to get that phone call to say, can you support with this? We're getting funding for 12 months. Yeah, absolutely. And you can sit down with another member of the team. So before you know it, you're kind of speaking to so many different parts of their organisation.
But I think they do that as well, though, because they trust. Good call. It's not like they're just they don't just phone us and say, we need 100 lines extra or whatever it is that they need, and we just bung it onto their account. And like that, we'll look at what they need, and because we are interested in, well, not even just interested, what we care about is what they're up to and how we're helping them do it. So, and they get that from us. We don't just get on the phone, get what they need and get off. We'll chat away to them and find out what they're doing and who they're working with and the challenges of it sometimes as well.
Yeah. And they do, because they might not have funding for the right amount of time. So it's a case of, what's the best solution for you, or what's the best hardware, and because of the type of project they're going to be doing. It's even things like you've got Foundation Scotland. I remember when we gave that quote over the amount of money that we were able to save. West House of Scotland Association, they're all the same. Those ones were really massive savings. Where especially West of Scotland, they put that money back into their services. So that then, whether that, helped employ another person or kept a roll on, or like you said before, it's been able to run a project for another 10 weeks, then fantastic. That's what the impact's all about.
Yeah, and I think because we're just short of 100 organisations now, aren't we? I think this month we may have even just gone over the 100 mark, which is exciting.
Whereas we started out with just a couple, and to now, 3 years later, even through the pandemic, where actually, there was peaks and troughs where it was quite quiet. I suppose like that for everybody, because maybe there was the uncertainty times, but then there was the times where you could tell charities had maybe been given the green light and funding, and then it was like, okay, what can we do best to support you? So it was kind of going through that flow through the pandemic, and we've made that massive impact with them all.
I think because, like we've spoken about, there's the sort of financial savings that we try to help the organisations make. I think that we've seen then, because we don't take any profit, so we see those organisations repurpose either the savings, or if we can give them money, the commission, if we can give them that in hardware, that then means that, because we think it's about £150,000 that we've saved organisations across the UK. So that then means £150,000 is back into the third sector, back into our communities.
And that's just looking at us comparing contracts to contracts a lot of the time, whereas that's not taking into account people's time.
Yeah.
Because we've had one organisation come to us and they were on just really kind of like 1 month tariff, but it was at a higher rate. But they were having to individually log into those accounts. But a finance manager was taking 3 days every month to do that and to do all the invoicing, whereas now we send that to them. So I'd love to count up somebody's salary for those 3 days to then equate, right, that's going back into your services, because that person's not having to do that anymore. So there's a lot of those, that takes place as well.
I remember having a conversation with the Archie Foundation, and they had a dongle. Do you remember this? They had the dongle, and their last the person that had supplied their mobiles, I can't remember the exact figures now, but say it was like £70 a month or something, they were getting charged for the dongle, and you were able to go and say, like, cost price, that's going to be, I can't remember the numbers, but say it's like £15 or something. And it was just such an astronomical amount that they were going to be saving it each month. But our contact at the Archie Foundation, he then went back to the previous supplier who tried to kind of counteract our offer. You know, they gave it to say it was even less, like £12 or £13 a month.
Yeah.
But I think that process, you know, it wasn't necessarily, they ended up going with us, you know, so we weren't then the cheapest, but actually it got the conversation going around actually they want to go with suppliers where, you know, there's accountability and where we...
But they trust.
Yeah, they trust.
They trust that we're giving them the right... Yeah, we're not out to make a profit. So whatever we've told them is... And we've had that happen a few times where, you know, maybe another profit for organisation has gone back with a contract that is probably slightly less. If that charity's gone back and said, you know, this is what we can have. Yeah. And I think that's where, you know, I've had that conversation around, well... You know, you've been with them for maybe 2 sets of contracts now, so possibly 4 years. They're now saying they can do it at this cost.
What they've been charging you before.
What could you have now saved over the last 4 years so when you know you come with someone like GoodCall, it's in your best interest. So something might be a little bit more expensive, something might be a little bit cheaper, but it's what we can best do and best advise as well over the length of either your funding or your contract.
I think what's exciting is we're beginning to see a trend around, especially with the bigger charities at the moment anyway. I think that, you know, they're kind of setting the trend of actually, if I spend £1 for a mobile phone, okay, I get my mobile phone. But if I spend it in a social enterprise, what other impact does that have? So people are thinking about their social suppliers. You know, we've gone for tenders where we've won, where we actually haven't necessarily been the cheapest. But it's because those charities are, you know, setting the wheels in motion of thinking about actually it's not just about what our organisation does, it's about what does our spend do? What impact does our spend have by the third sector working collaboratively? I think that's really exciting because I think that's where we're really going to see the change, and I feel quite proud to be kind of
part of. And that's where it makes, and I've said that to the team, that's where it makes us really proud is whether we've helped them with a small thing like the project, or, you know, helped them the team, or they come back to us and say, well, this is now, you know, what are you doing with those savings? And there's you know, that's the bit that gives me the kick, because I think absolutely, that's where you've made a direct impact.